and a circuit named after one of Canada's greatest ever drivers. We are here for round 4 of the Psgl F1 Championship, the Canadian Grand Prix. And I do apologise, live TV, sometimes things happen, but we have certainly recovered to give you live racing here tonight on GamingAlimonda. My commentary partner, Demon, not here tonight for this particular race, but at this 4.3 iconic circuit in terms of kilometres, 14 corners, 3 DRS zones and 35 laps of great action. We've had some brilliant races here in the past. Last 2 times, Cliffy, a 2-time winner, going for the hat-trick this evening as we get a nice view of the hairpin, which will be one of the key overtaking areas of this track. And of course, if we get some dry running for the first time this season, Psgl F1 will unleash the power of those pink hypersofts, rather, the fastest and softest compound available. But of course, Canada, very unusual weather at times. We might get some rain as well. So this is round 4 of 11 of the season, an 18-minute qualifying session as usual, followed by a 35-lap race of this 4.3 kilometre circuit. So as I mentioned previously, Demon off for a job interview today, I hear. So hopefully that went well for him and he gets a nice job from the end of it. There won't be quite as much detail to the stream today. I haven't had time to do a track guide, but hopefully we'll share some things now. So, going to have a quick look at the championship standings. The lobby is just loading as we speak. So let's have a look at the current championship standings. Oh, wrong one. I am certainly a little bit rattled by OBS's problems, no question about it. So Game of the Best. Leading away on 36 points, his lead was cut to 10 points with Big C finishing ahead of him at Silverstone. That contact between Game of the Best and Lewis proved to be quite critical to the outcome of that Grand Prix. KB Killer winning in brilliant fashion to make it 3 winners out of 3 for Psgl F1 so far this season. He's moved up to 3rd in the championship on 24 points. Blizzard on 21 points and 16 points for CCBRAIN with that fantastic 2nd place at Britain last week. And then the reigning champion VSR Lewis in 6th place. Then we got Cliffy in 7th, Oogie Z in 8th, who hasn't scored a single point since his podium in Australia. Ash Best, the season 19 champion, only 9 points from 3 races so far, and he finds himself down in 9th place. And then Sambamkid moving into the top 10 in the other Williams. And then in the Constructors' Championship, it's very close at the top. Toro Rosso on 45 points, 43 points for Williams and McLaren on 35 points. It's a significant gap between the top 3 to the rest, with Sauber at the bottom with only 4 points so far, but hoping that the replacement driver Lickleblocks, who took the place of Wacko recently, will have a benefit. Now, qualifying is about to begin, but I just want to mention a special event that's coming to Psgl next week, same time Monday, because we're on a 3-week break from the season after tonight's race, and that is the Ayrton Senna Trophy, which is going to be Psgl's tribute to one of the greatest qualifying laps in the history of the sport. At the 1988 Monaco Grand Prix, Ayrton Senna outqualified his teammate, the great Alain Prost, by 1.4 seconds, with a lap that Ayrton Senna described himself as the peak of his powers. So what that will be, it will be essentially a 1-hour qualifying session. We will whittle down from 20 drivers to 15, and then down to a top 10 shootout, and the fastest time will be awarded Psgl's Ayrton Senna Trophy. Well, enough about that. We're now going to go to trackside to see a qualifying session for the Psgl F1 Canadian Grand Prix. In terms of the strategy, well, it's a real mixture compared to the previous 3 rounds, which were definite 1-stop. Here, because of the short pit lane, we could see a mixture of 1- and 2-stop strategies. Those on the 1-stop, they will be going to qualify on the Ultra Softs and then doing a long second stint on the Super Softs, and then those on the Hyper Softs will likely be going for 2 sets of Ultra Softs during the race, but that's assuming the race stays dry, of course. So just going to check everything is running as I expect, and indeed it is. I'm glad everything is working now. So let's switch out of that. Need to share the link somewhere. Yeah, I tell you what, when OBS was not working, I was in such a panic. I just couldn't understand what went wrong. The mic was absolutely fine. It just wouldn't respond to any input, so I had to restart OBS in the end. Well, I guess I paid the price for getting home late from work, so next time I'm definitely going to test it before going live. But hey, First time for everything, but ultimately we're still going to see all the action here. So outlaps for the time being. It's 4.3 kilometer circuit, very much all about heavy braking zones, free chicanes. You want to set up your car for low downforce, but you still need a little bit for the technical sector 1 and the fast sector 2, especially the second chicane, which in my opinion is one of the hardest corners on the circuit. You have to take so much speed through it. And unfortunately, it looks like the sound glitch. I hope they fix that at some point. And again, another glitch on OBS, which meant the sound wasn't working. So, but hopefully, you should be able to hear that now. Boy, oh boy, this has definitely been the most frustrating commentary I've done so far. I'm definitely going to have to reinstall this afterwards. But anyway, let's focus on the matter at hand. Everyone on the Hypersoft says KB Killers, it's a 110.791. In terms of the times, I think we'll be at least in the low 8s, maybe into the 7s. Certainly in practice, a lot of times. And straight away, a 1 minute 8.069 from MichEmery. So, yeah, straight away, flat 8 from MichEmery. Who's now permanent Red Bull driver. It's Big C with a 108.422 just behind. And some of the times behind, that didn't look representative to me, so they must have invalidated. Had to slow down. That's Game of the Best. Puts it down a notch. Well, Game of the Best recovered well after that incident with Lewis at Silverstone last week to get some valuable points. Might have even been on the podium if he didn't get a late penalty, which cost him third place to Big C. And Big C is his closest rival at the moment, as we saw in the championship standings. We've had 3 different winners from the opening 3 rounds, so given the talent of the field that we have here, we could easily get a 4th today. And well, looks like I'm not going to be using onboard that much because of the glitches that we're seeing. Anyone else finishing a lap? Sambamkid? No. Anyone? Let's have a look. What about Qprbeasts? Let's have a look at him. No, he's 15 seconds down on his best time. Abiodun sitting in the pit. Liquid Block's coming out for a lap. What about CCBRAIN? CCBRAIN then flying into the hairpin at turn 10. A very critical braking zone. Very important to get good traction out of that corner so that you can really attack or defend from the car behind, because this is where a lot of the overtakes will take place, on this long back straight. And good toe from the other Mercedes ahead, and that could enable him to get a really good time here. Cherry2Pie heads for the line. Yes, 3rd position, so it's a very tight top 3 at the moment, just over a 1/10 of a second. And what on earth's going on there? It's like mothers on a Sunday going for their shopping. Just all parked up there, but I guess they were just letting the faster cars go. So yeah, some very good times on the Hypersofts early on. But look at that, so close between the top 3. Anyone on the Ultrasoft so far? No, looks like nobody going on to the Ultrasoft. So that could be an indication it might be a wet race, because I'm surprised we haven't seen anyone going on to the Ultrasoft yet. Although on the balance, you get 3 sets of Ultrasofts. 3 sets of Hypersofts rather, and 1 set of Ultrasofts. I'm not used to saying Hypersoft because we're not going to see it in too many races this season. And CCBRAIN with that great German-themed helmet. He's done a series of videos on his channel about making national helmets, which is quite nice. They're actually really good. So I've seen quite a lot of people looking at those. So check them out on CCBRAIN's YouTube channel if you fancy a flag-inspired helmet for your country. So far we have 4 drivers who have yet to set a time. So I think I'm going to try and find Cliffy. Yeah, here comes Cliffy, round in the fine corner. He has won the last 2 Psgl F1 Canadian Grand Prix at this track. And, well, Cliffy backs off, so he must have been validated with that glitch, of course. And it looks like, yeah, someone mentioned in the chat that Cherry2Pie has a 5 grid penalty. I missed that, to be honest. But it's a well-spotted J. So, let's see who's in the chat at the moment. Oh, we have the likes of Adventures, Jack Tyler, Zexa. I think that's how you say it. King Hover from F7, good to see you. And then we have Lewis, aka Praga, and a few others. I'm sure more will join the chat as we go along. Cherry2Pie on an outlap. Abiodun as well. Anyone on the Ultra Softs at least coming out for a run? Because I'm really interested. Yeah, MichEmery actually has come out onto the Ultra Softs. So I think I might have to keep an eye on him. Go on board with him for a lap of this circuit. Which I guess will be your alternate track guide. Abiodun, well, apparently he's done a lap in 8 minutes, so either the timing screen's wrong, and yeah, invalidated time, or at least maybe the start of a flying lap actually. Let's have a look at MichEmery then. As he starts another lap of this Gilles Villeneuve circuit. So then, into the first corner then. Fairly heavy braking zone. You want to take a lot of curb there to get the best line into the following corner, which is turn 2. And then moving up to the first of the 3 chicanes on this track. Turns 3 and 4. Very easy to cut here and invalidate. Oh, and a slam of the wall. And that's probably ended MichEmery's chances. Not as much grip on those Ultra Softs, of course. It can take a bit longer to warm. And actually, now the graphic says he's on Hypersoft, so that's very helpful. Wait a minute. So you're telling me MichEmery did a 108.69 on the Ultra Softs? Wow. So I was very much mistaken. I thought he had the Hypersofts as his best time and he had the Ultra Softs fitted. But in fact, according to this, his best time is on the Ultra Softs, and the same for Blizzard as well. And Abiodun goes second, and look how close that top 4 is getting. Now the top 4 within just over a tenth of a second. What about Liquor Blocks? Is Liquor Blocks on a lap? Yep, I would concur with that, Jay. Ultra Softs are not that much slower than the Hypersofts. Probably, depending on the skill of the driver, at least half a second, I would say, up to a second. So Liquor Blocks then, on a flying run. It's got the McLaren ahead. That might be Ash Best. No, that's Big C, because Ash Best is in the pits at the moment. Only 14th for Ash Best. And it looks like Lewis has joined the lobby, but he's not actually in the qualifying session. So that means Lewis is going to be starting from the back of the grid. So I wonder if he was late for the session. Wouldn't be the first league that happened to him in the last 24 hours. Oh, and Liquor Blocks hitting the wall. It's so easy to do that. The car just likes to understeer to the right if you take a bit too much speed. Ash Best locking the brakes ahead. So I wonder if Ash Best is on a lap as well. Big C, I meant. So then Big C then heading for the final corner, slowing the car down. Oh, hits the wall a little bit. Oh, my bad. Big C slows down, must have done invalidation, and it looks like Lickle did as well. It is so easy to invalidate at this track. We're going to see a fair amount of penalties, and that could even decide the outcome of this race. So at the moment, your top 3, MichEmery, CCBRAIN and GamingAlimonda. Now the times are really starting to tumble down. MichEmery and CCBRAIN both in the 107s. So the mid 107s with just over 7 minutes of a session to go. GamingAlimonda is going to have to try and respond to that. And here is GamingAlimonda. Coming up to the end of Sector 2, the championship leader of Psgl F1. Two podiums in the opening 2 races. A race win at China and then 4th place at Britain last week. Then here we go then. Building up the power. Hasn't got too much battery left though. He's used quite a lot already. You ideally want to be in overtake mode on these straights because you get more acceleration. He's going to run out of battery before he even gets to the final straight. And yeah, he's called it. I think he's invalidated already. So for the time being, it's a Red Bull and a Mercedes on the front row. CCBRAIN on the pace again. 2nd place at Britain last week, as he had a bit of a cleaner race than some of the drivers around him. But CCBRAIN, compared to F1 2017, has really stepped up the pace. And perhaps in time could be a dark horse for the championship. So let's see what people are fitting then. A few drivers have opted to go on to the Ultra Softs. And Ash Best, interestingly, is out there on the Super Softs. So it'd be kind of interesting to see how the Super Softs cope. I've not seen many use the Super Softs in qualifying. across the leagues. F1 and F2, of course, being the last leagues to do the Canadian Grand Prix tonight. It looks like the clouds are beginning to gather here. Well, I wonder if we get some late rain in the session, then the grid that we can see at the moment will be that. So we'll have to go out of the onboard view. Let's see what Asbest can do then on the super soft tyres. He's currently P16, which is not where he wants to be. By his own admission, he's not really adapting to this game as quickly as he would like, but plenty of races to go. He still has that raw speed to be a threat. And at the moment, Cliffy has moved up to third position. A 107.905, so 3 drivers into the 7s for the time being. As Asbest carries on out of the end of sector 1. Ooh, gets onto the curbs a bit. Having to fight with the wheel to keep the car straight. Oh, and he slightly cut that. Oh, did he risk an invalidation just then? He might have got it. And as the Renault ahead slows down, I believe that's Cliffy. So Asbest then. It's very interesting to see how his time compares. So at the moment, the best times here to Cliffy on the Ultra Softs are 107.905. That's a fantastic effort from Cliffy to get into third place on the Ultra Softs, which could give him a crucial strategic advantage. Asbest, no, had enough of those Super Softs. So he's currently P17. It's not been a good session for the former Psgl F1 champion so far. MichEmery then, coming out on his outlap. CCBRAIN still in the pits, but he's coming out. KB Killer has moved up to third on the Ultra Softs. The British Grand Prix winner from last week. So we've got 4 drivers in the 7s now, and I dare say a few more drivers are going to get into the 107s. And KB Killer has decided to call it a day. He's retired on track. I mean, he could have had time. I mean, the car moves out of the way, so no harm done, but he probably would have had time to get back and gone out for another run. It's a very short pit lane here. Now, in terms of the lost time you get here, it's about 20 seconds. However, because the pit exit cuts out the opening section of corners, it's more like 15 seconds that you lose in the pit lane. So that's why at this particular track, unlike the previous 3 rounds, if we get a fully dry race, there's not much to choose between the 1 and 2 stop strategies. They usually all come together at the end of the race. You know, safety cars apparently are going to be patched back to be better in the game, so I'm not going to hold out hope to see a safety car in this game because they seem to be very rare. As rare as a Siberian tiger in the desert, apparently, according to Codemasters. So MichEmery going on to his, what should be his final qualifying run. The hybrids don't really have the tyre life to do 2 runs, so he's going to have to get it right first time. Now what about Game of the Best? Game of the Best and Abiodun out on their outlaps, and Cliffy's in the pits at the moment. Cliffy might be happy with his position in the top 10 at the moment, but may come out on the Hypersofts to get the track position, but we shall see. But if he can finish in 4th on the Hypersofts, he'd be delighted with that. So MichEmery then trying to eke out a bit more with an advantage. Can he get into the low 107s just to seal off this pole position? We know MichEmery has fantastic one-lap pace. On his Psgl F1 debut last season, he got pole position and won the race. So we know what MichEmery can do. He goes into the end of Sector 2. Massive lock of the tyres. He's not going to be too concerned about that. And actually, he's going to get a tow from the McLaren ahead. And that could really prove useful for MichEmery as he goes up towards the end of the back straight and then turns 13 and 14, the last 2 corners on the track. Into the chicane he goes. MichEmery going over the line. Oh, he took so much speed. Was that an invalidation? We're about to find out, but MichEmery is looking absolutely brilliant here. It's a 107.269 from MichEmery. That was an absolutely fantastic lap from MichEmery. Can anybody respond to that? As CCBRAIN comes out a little late, I have to say. So let's have a look at the likes of Game of the Best. Game of the Best on a run himself, and once again, I just can't go on board because it's just lawnmowers everywhere. It's such a shame. And apparently England are 3-0 up against Spain. That's not a result I expected. The Game of the Best. Well, it's just an outlap. This is definitely not a fast lap at the moment. Yeah, plenty of battery left and tanks, so maybe he invalidated. No, this is a flying lap actually. So let's stick on board with Game of the Best for a few more moments. I just want to see where CCBRAIN is. I mean, CCBRAIN's going to be cutting it rather fine. No, actually, he should be okay, actually. Very short lap. He's going to have the best track evolution right at the end of the session. Is there anyone else out there at the moment? Few drivers in the pits still. Blizzard and Big C and Ugizim, they won't be going again. Let's have a look at where is Abiodun. Abiodun has gone faster. But yeah, game of the best. Let's go on board with the race leader. MichEmery has ended his qualifying session at 107.269, the current benchmark. Now, game of the best now has traffic up ahead. He's going to get a bit of a tow. Now, is that Sambamkid ahead? Is that his Williams teammate giving an assist to his good friend Game of the Best? Now that is very similar to the Toro Rosso teamwork we saw at China, which proved really beneficial to Blizzard. So Game of the Best storming towards the line. Is this going to be good enough for pole position? He's improved, but hasn't moved up any positions. So it's fifth. Looks like it's going to be the best for Game of the Best. Abiodun is 5 seconds down, so he's not going to be going anywhere. So let's keep an eye on CCBRAIN. Oh, CCBRAIN's backed off. Invalidation. What about Cliffy? Cliffy's still going on the Hypersofts. Ash Best, I think, is on a 110.720 on the Ultra Softs. Still going out there, but CCBRAIN has backed off. MaxiLuca retired from the session, P14. Cliffy, who in recent seasons has been the Canada specialist. He's won the 2 races here in PHF1. He's looking to make it a hat-trick of wins here at Canada. Oh, look at that Haas. That was MaxiLuca's car. And I don't know if that cost Cliffy time. And Cliffy with a 107.232. No, sir. It did not cost him time avoiding that Haas. And Cliffy, what is it with this Montreal track? And Tony, unbelievable. Can anyone get close to that? AMS is out there still. Is he on a flying lap? Obviously not. But that is a sensational lap by the Renault driver to take pole position here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And Ash Betts ending up in P11, which in the dry race isn't a bad place to be. As for anyone outside the top 10, free choice of tyres. So what are we waiting for? It looks like Game of the Best has returned to the pit, so I think we're waiting for him to call it a day, and then we are done here for this qualifying session. So quite a fascinating qualifying session here, but it was mighty close between the top 5. And we will see the gaps in a few moments' time. And don't forget, Lewis is still going to be entering it. So look at that. One of the closest qualifying sessions of the season so far. Cliffy takes pole position of 107.232, just ahead of MichEmery by 0.037 of a second. CCBRAIN in third with another great qualifying session. KB Killer continuing his fine form with another top 5 position. Abiodun in 5th. Game of the Best in 6th, the championship leader. Oogie Azim in 7th. Leon 8th. Blizzard in 9th. Big C, Gamer's closest rival in 10th. Ash Best, Big C's teammate in 11th. 12th for Cherry2Pie. AMS 13th. Sambamkid 14th. MaxiLuca 15th. Nick Pine 16th. QPRB 17th. And at the back of the grid will be Lickle Blocks and I do believe Lewis, who has joined during qualifying, so he will be P19, the reigning Psgl F1 champion for Scuderia Ferrari. And it looks like bright sunshine here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And looks, well, momentarily there were 2 cars on top of each other. And again, oh dear, it's just a classic, isn't it? So circuit Gilles Villeneuve. So your top 3 predictions for the race, let me know in the chat. And also let me know what your favourite real-life Canadian Grand Prix moments have been. There's so many to choose from. There's been so many classic races in Formula 1 at this circuit. We've been racing here since the 1970s. So we're just waiting for the formation lap to load. Hopefully it will all go ready. Yes, Jack Tyler mentioning the 2011 Canadian Grand Prix, one of the longest races in the sport's history because of all the delays, and Jenson Button coming from the back, pitting a million times seemingly, and then pipping Sebastian Vettel on the final lap. Still remember that race like it was yesterday. So then onto the formation lap we go. Let's have a look then what the tyre choices are for those outside the top 10. And we got you got Ultra Softs then for Ashbest, Cherry2Pie, AMS, QPRbeasts and Lickle Blocks, and then the rest: Sambamkid, MaxiLuca, Nick Pine, and Lewis W03 on the Super Softs. But inside the top 10, KB Killer, Leon and Blizzard on the Ultra Softs, and that will surely, if they stay out of trouble, give them quite a strategic advantage. But as I say, because of the short pit lane at this track, the loss of time, it's going to be really, really hard to tell what strategy is going to come out on top until the very end of the race. And Jack Tyler's made a bold prediction that the top three will be the top three at the start. Well, he could be right. I mean, they've both shown really good pace in qualifying, but qualifying is one thing, race is an entirely different matter. It's quite a tricky track to set up here, because you need low downforce, otherwise you're a sitting duck on the back straight. But if you don't have enough downforce, coincidentally, you know, sector 1, the first chicane, the second chicane, they're a real handful. So Cliffy once again in the box seat here at Montreal. He has a special connection with this track, and if he can get another win here, that would be unbelievable. It's a very short run, 280 meters to turn 1, one of the shortest runs of the season, and it's quite a concertina effect. But here we go then, Charlie Whiting checking the grids, and we're about to go racing. And here come the 5 red lights, and we're about to start for the Psgl F1 Canadian Grand Prix. And it's a drive-through penalty for Big C. Big C has jumped the start. That could be a desync, to be honest. But Big C has retired from the session. That could be a restart, to be honest. We shall see. Oh, it's all going wrong here. I don't know what's going to go on. I think if we see a load of people leaving the session, that's going to be. But yeah, Cliffy, I think we're going to get a restart here because people seem to be ghosting already. Yeah, MichEmery into the lead of this race then from KB Killer. So until I know otherwise, we're going to just act it as it is. I'm not sure what just happened there, but it looked like, yeah, Cliffy disconnected as well, it seems. So MichEmery leading this race from KB Killer and CCBRAIN in third. But I get the sense we're going to get a restart. Yeah, people retiring left, right, and centre. So we're going to get a restart of this race, it seems like. So, yeah. I've had problems, the game's had problems, it's been one of those nights, hasn't it? So, yeah, apologies, folks. As MichEmery just flies off. So we're gonna call it on that. Let's get this up. So yeah, big apologies for the issues we're having today. I'm going to be in communication with the admins just to see what's going on. But this actually gives Lewis a chance now to actually select a proper setup. So he'll be delighted secretly. Yeah, I mean, Big C made such a large jump start. There was just no way that was legitimate. Right, we're going to leave the session now. So a new lobby will be made shortly. So yeah, according to what I've just read, Cliffy disconnected just before the race started. So that is the reason for a restart. Well, hopefully this stream won't go as long as the 2011 Canadian Grand Prix. Otherwise, I may not make it to work tomorrow. So, you know, we'll just go back to that qualifying session. That was excellent stuff. But yeah, you know, we can't have it where, you know, one of the drivers who is in pole position, you know, disconnects. And we have received another invite, so we're going back in. So it shouldn't be too much longer. We're going to get a custom grid. Apparently it's a fully dry race, so there shouldn't be any need to set up much weather. Although it does look like it's custom at the moment. But as I mentioned, this is absolute gold for the reigning champion Lewis, because he didn't have a setup, because Parc Fermé is on, of course. So if you join in qualifying and you race, you only have a default setup available, which just absolutely kills you at a track like this. But now Lewis has a golden chance to make up positions. He's going to be one to watch from the back of the grid. If he keeps out of trouble, he could really put on a show for us from there. So pretty much everybody's back into the lobby, so it won't be long before we're away to again. So I'm gonna give everyone watching a lot of credit for their patience tonight. I've had problems with OBS, and then I had to restart the stream, and now we've had to restart the race. It's been one of those evenings, but you know, it's always good to have a positive spin on it, not get cross about it, and just plow on. And then you get your reward in the end. And hopefully we're rewarded in the end with a great motor race. Because, you know, this track, in these cars, you're around the circuit in qualifying in less than 70 seconds. Just think that. 4.3 kilometers in 70 seconds. It's mind-boggling. I mean, if you were in like a normal, like Ford Saloon, it would take you, you know, well over 5 times as long to cover that distance. At the very least. So while we're waiting, I mentioned it earlier, 2011, you know, a fantastic Canadian Grand Prix, but there were some other good ones as well. 2008, Lewis Hamilton's first ever victory, 2007, Lewis Hamilton's first ever victory in Formula 1, which, you know, always memorable. You know, he's had tremendous success at Canada over the years, as has Michael Schumacher. But Lewis Hamilton, I do believe, holds the all-time record for most wins at this circuit now, after his victory this year. Every time they go to Canada, it's like, yep, Lewis is going to win. It's as simple as that. It's one of those circuits he's really dialed into, like Silverstone or the Circuit of the Americas. So we're just waiting for the custom grid to be done and everything like that. And good to see that Jamie has joined the chat. And yeah, we may as well ask me a question if you like. Just put Ask Ali. It's probably the best thing to do, or Ask Venom. I don't mind either way. And oh yes, Daniel Ricciardo's first win, Jay. Yes, that was a good race actually. Yeah, Ricciardo. Although Ricciardo did win the race, basically the safety car came in and he just crossed the line. But, you know, still well deserved. He raced really well that day. He absolutely thrashed Sebastian Vettel, didn't he, that year? You know, Vettel was the 4-time champion. Ricciardo just came in, not intimidated, and just, you know, whooped him. You know, 3 wins. Vettel was nowhere near Ricciardo that season. And, you know, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Charles Leclerc, you know, another young, hungry driver, could do the same to Vettel at Ferrari next season. I think Leclerc is going to do better than a lot of people were expecting. You know, I've been watching him since, you know, because I watched, you know, GP3 and Formula 2, and I've seen Leclerc rise through the ranks rapidly in recent seasons, and I do think he's the real deal. So a question from King Hover, how is F7 going? It's going pretty well, thank you. Canadian Grand Prix last week in F7 was more or less a perfect session for my not very high standards, I have to admit, but you know, it was a good drive anyway. And race win, pole and all that. No penalties though, that was the most pleasing thing about it. And Aaron Collingwood asks, do you think a 1-stop or a 2-stop is viable with a small pit lane time? Well, as I've mentioned multiple times in this stream tonight, I think there's not much between the 1- and 2-stop strategies in a full dry race. I think we will see a variety, but obviously now, because it's a restart, those on the Hypersofts, they're now brand new Hypersofts, so that will allow them to stretch it out a little bit longer. Might even allow them to do a 1-stop. Super soft tyres will go at least 20 laps before they really fall off the cliff. So we're just going to wait for the loading screen to go, and then we will be good for it. So no qualifying, of course. It's just a restart, so straight into the race. I don't know if they keep the formation lap on, to be honest, for a restart. I can't remember what the procedure is. Right, so let's do that now. But yeah, I mean, I went for the 2-stop in F7 because I just couldn't really get the temperature right on the super soft, so I felt like I'd just be too slow. So I just went really aggressive, and in the end, I finished way ahead because I was just able to undercut all the time on those who hadn't stopped yet. Although, as it turns out, in my race, no one else did a 1-stop anyway. Everyone else did a 2-stop, but the undercut is immensely powerful here. That's something you're going to look out for in this race if you haven't raced in Canada this week. So here we go then. We're about to restart here. Bright sunshine here. I mean, this looks like a beautiful racetrack. You know, the lakes and the skyline of Montreal in the background. I'd love to go here. Quite an expensive trip though, just for a motor race, isn't it? I don't think I wouldn't say F7's a crash league, especially considering what we've seen from F2 this season and F6 on Saturday. That was a bit of a destruction derby. There were way more retirements in that than there were in F7. I think F7's okay from what I've seen. So just waiting for the lobby to load. Hopefully no more shenanigans. Aaron asks, what is my job? My job is to be awesome. No, I work in the IT industry, which is probably not surprising given one of my hobbies is video games. So yeah, here we go, another formation lap then. So hopefully no disconnects this time. So those on the top 10 will have to select the same tyres, so hopefully they have. And yes, exactly the same tyres in the top 10. There were 3 Ultra Soft runners and 7 Hyper Soft runners in the top 10. Has anyone decided to pick a different tyre outside the top 10 though? No, I think... Was Liquid Blocks on the Super Softs last time? I'm not entirely sure. Would it be nice if one driver outside the top 10 had picked the Hyper Softs just to see the contrast, although that would have made no sense from a tactical point of view, to be fair. So CCBRAIN looking to get his 2nd podium of the season. A really strong drive at Silverstone last week. He was fighting a lot of faster cars at the end, but you know, he kept it clean, and that's why he got the podium. So we've got 2 Renault powered cars on the front row. Cliffy in a Renault versus a Red Bull. It's very season 18 this. You know, Cliffy's looked much more at home in the Renault this season compared to last season, where I think he was still recovering from losing that championship in season 19. I think, you know, I mean, that shook him up big time. The way that championship ended, losing the championship on win difference, not even a point. But now, he's got his first pole position of the season. So here we go then. 19 drivers out of 20 for this Psgl F1 Canadian Grand Prix. And we're about to go for our 2nd start. Hopefully no problems this time. Green flag being waved. Where are those red lights? They are coming on now. 4 lights, 5 lights. Lights out, and away we go. It's a bit of wheel spin from Cliffy, and that's going to allow Mitch to get a run on him into the first corner. But you have the inside line, and that should be a relatively easy task for Cliffy to maintain his lead of the race. And the top 3 is as you were. Can KB Killer come at CCBRAIN? But actually, there's a Force India. No, I thought for a second the Force India was challenging. We've got yellows in Sector 1 already. Has anyone hit the wall? Is everyone through clean? I'm not sure at the moment. Nick Pine has dropped down to 19th position. So let's have a look then up the order. Well, I thought that Force India was about to... So yeah, the Force India is making a move on KB Killer. Abiodun having a little move, and a bit of lag there, but they've both run massively wide, and that's going to allow GamingAlimonda to get a run on the Force India. Mercedes versus Mercedes engine, equal cards here, but I think Nick Pine must have hit the wall. He's got damage. He's already dropped 5 seconds behind Lewis at the back of the grid. GamingAlimonda getting a lot of wheel spin, but now it's going to go side by side with the Force India. But watch out for the Toro Rosso on the Ultra Softs of Blizzard just behind. They could be going 3 wide here. Abiodun desperately trying to cover off these. Oh, they're so close. And into the pits comes KB Killer. KB Killer has retired from the session. He's gone into the pits. He's already out of this race. So that's a big blow for the Constructors leaders at the moment. And Qprbeasts is out of the race. Has he been there, the Wall of Champions? And up ahead, side by side, into the first chicane, MichEmery and Cliffy. And Cliffy just about defends it, but gets a terrible exit. Goes so deep. And MichEmery going to stay on board with CCBRAIN. Oh, goodness me. I'm not sure how Cliffy managed to maintain the lead of the race. We've had 2 retirements already. And Lewis has left the session. It's at a disconnect. Or hopefully this isn't another restart. Don't think it is. I think Lewis might have got damage. Or maybe it's a genuine disconnect. Nick Pine is out of the race. That's your 3rd retirement already. We're only on lap 2. But yeah, I just don't know if this is going to be a restart. People aren't crashing left, right and centre. I think these are genuine incidents. No, Lewis is back, so he disconnected. So no, this is not a restart. Let's go racing. MichEmery has got a bit more pace at the moment, but obviously the slipstream is really powerful here at Canada. Can MichEmery go for a move? No, he's going to try and put Cliffy under pressure. Force him into a mistake, but to be fair to Cliffy, that's a really good exit out of the final chicane. But yeah, one of the Toro Rossos out. So that has promoted Abiodun, Gamer and Blizzard up into the top 6. Very close position-wise so far. But the top 2 of Cliffy and MichEmery are already galloping away from the Mercedes of CCBRAIN, who himself is now looking over his shoulder a little bit at Abiodun and GamingAlimonda behind. Let's just have a quick look at GamingAlimonda. Is he putting Abiodun under any sort of pressure at the moment? DRS activated then on lap 3. So yeah, no, GamingAlimonda not able to challenge at the moment. So let's go back to the battle for the lead. The DRS for the first time. And if Lewis can't regain control of his car, he's going to go into the mid-season break with only 12 points from the opening 4 races. He will be absolutely miles behind those at the top of the standings. It's not the Ferrari curse, seemingly, appears to have one continuing. Even though, you know, it can't be a real thing. It's just bad luck and bad performances. So it seems to have calmed down just a little bit. Yellow's in sector 3. Cliffy putting the pace on a little bit. 1:10.941, your early fastest lap pace. And now Abiodun getting past CCBRAIN in the battle for 3rd. And GamingAlimonda, he'll be fancying a little sniff of 4th place from the Mercedes driver. Oh, Gamer drifting wide just a little bit. Nearly coming a cropper. But once again, MichEmery has got really... I just saw MichEmery was really close once again to Cliffy. So through the second chicane. Cliffy, a former 2-time winner of this race, looking to make it 3 in a row, which would be simply astonishing because it's over 2 games. So MichEmery once again very close to the back. Haven't seen much of the midfield yet, but hopefully we'll see a bit more of it later. But this battle for the lead, the first 4 laps has been so intense. Cliffy doesn't have the straight line speed, but maybe saving a bit of battery. In fact, let's put the telemetry on so we can compare the battery. Oh, Cliffy has hardly any battery. So MichEmery doing a much better job with the battery management at the moment. Let's see what's happening behind. GamingAlimonda. No, he can't challenge CCBRAIN for position. So Blizzard just keeping a watching brief behind in the top 6. Breaking away slightly from Leon for the time being. So Cliffy still under... Oh, Cliffy taps the wall slightly. Any damage on the Renault, I wonder? Didn't look too hard at contact, so you may have just about got away with it. But that's going to be a commonplace for damage. So let's have a look at the winners and losers of the early reckoning. So 3 places gained for Blizzard. Ash Bess has made a pretty decent start. He's into the top 8. And don't forget, he's on the alternate strategy of the Ultra Softs from outside top 11. So he's in good shape at the moment. Big C has pretty much just stayed where he is in 10th. And Lewis has gained 6 places. Has he been able to regain control of his car? Looks like that is a possibility. So I may check that shortly. It's 2.7 gap between the top 2 and then the 3rd place car behind. Now MichEmery really putting under pressure. But Cliffy, again, just wisely, just putting the car in. CCBRAIN still trying to challenge. We'll go straight back to MichEmery. Can he challenge for the lead? This could be decided in the pit stops. Who's gonna blink first and maybe look for that undercut? Because as I mentioned earlier, the undercut is incredibly powerful here if you're in clear air. So the Abbey train, as I'm going to call it, still very close indeed. Game of the best, keeping a watching brief in 5th at the moment. His nearest championship rival, Big C, is currently in P11. So he's looking good. Oh, and there's contact ahead. And Abiodun has lost pace. And look at that, game of the best. It's going to go alongside CCBRAIN. He's gained 2 places in just that back straight. But he's had an absolutely horrific second chicane. And this could allow Blizzard to take the pair of them. Can Blizzard get the space down the inside? No, he's going to back off. Game of the best goes late on the brakes to get past CCBRAIN in the end. But now he's going to be vulnerable if he doesn't have DRS to another move. Who's got DRS now? This is going to be crucial. And Game of the Best does not have DRS, so he's going to have to defend for his life. I do want to see the battle for lead in a second. CCBRAIN's going to try and go around the outside. He cuts the corner massively. He's going to be compromised. Game of the Best will come back at him. We're going to keep on board right here, right now. Game of the Best trying to get past CCBRAIN. Here comes Blizzard to the outside. Can he get it slowed down? Gamer drifts wide, and there's slight wheel banging here from the 2 drivers as we go on board with the Toro Rosso here. And where is Game of the Best? He must be alongside. No, Game of the Best has gone down to 5th, and now Leon is fancying his chances. He was up to 3rd for a few moments, and now Game of the Best is back down to 5th. Incredible racing. And MichEmery, while that's been going on, has overtaken Cliffy for the lead of this race. Apologies for missing it, but that battle for the podium was absolutely brilliant. But all that battling means that the top 2 are now 5.5 seconds ahead of the 3rd place man. So this looks like, at the moment, a 2-horse race for the race win, and then the rest are going to be having an almighty scrap for the final spot on the podium. Can Cliffy come back at MichEmery? He hasn't got much battery to fight with, so they're going to carry on. And Blizzard has stormed past CCBRAIN into 3rd. So the Toro Rosso driver, with 1 Toro Rosso out of the race, he's doing a good job for his team. Game of the Best pits then. Now I wonder, is this wing damage for the Williams driver? I just want to check. It's an early pit stop then for the current driver's leader. And it's ultra soft, so it looks like a 2-stop strategy for Game of the Best. And he's going to get that undercut that I mentioned earlier. Top 2 carry on the way. Now where's Abiodun? Because he pitted the previous lap. Is he able to get past Game of the Best? Oh, there's Game of the Best, who's gone really late. And look at that. That was a brilliant lunge out of the pit lane by Game of the Best to keep ahead of Abiodun. So Abiodun was unable to get Game of the Best. So that is a crucial moment in this race. And they're now going to be undercutting the cars ahead. So let's go back to the front. MichEmery seems to have a slight advantage in race pace at the moment. So remind ourselves what tyres everyone on. So Blizzard is on the ultra soft at the moment. So he's in 3rd position. So he's having a really good race at the moment. If he can get a 1-stop going, he looks in good shape to win this race. Ash Best up to 6th. Big C has pitted for the ultra softs as well. Is any other? No. So the Hypersoft runners are going to continue on. 8 laps on these Hypersofts so far for the top 2. Now what about CCBRAIN behind? No, CCBRAIN carries on. And Ugi Azim is going to pit from 9th place. So these are the 2 to watch out for in terms of the Ultrasoft runners who have pitted. They're in relatively clean air, although they are battling somewhat, so that might cost them a bit of time. Let's go straight back to the front, because Cliffy, even though he's been overtaken, he's not going to be panicking at this point. We'll go straight back, because look at this, Leon and CCBRAIN having a nice dice here for 4th place. CCBRAIN's Hypersofts must be screaming out a little bit. Yeah, look at that. He had no grip out of that corner. So I think CCBRAIN will be pitting very shortly. Now, speaking of the pits, will these 2 be pitting at the end of this lap? Current top 2 in this race. They were both the front row. They had brilliant starts brilliant launches, and they haven't really looked back since. Now have a 5.6 second advantage. Are they going to pit? No, they're going to carry on. And Cliffy gets a time penalty. That's the first of the top two today. But now he's going to try and come back. And MichEmery, is he going to go for a move to the inside? No, he's not close enough to make a move like that. And as I predicted, CCBRAIN coming into the pits. It looked like he just had no tyre wear left. And because of the time he's lost, I think GamingAlimonda and Abiodun will get past him. And it's super soft then for CCBRAIN. Here comes GamingAlimonda. Will he... CCBRAIN's coming out of the pit lane now. He's going to get jumped by both these guys. And he may get jumped by Big C as well. But don't forget, CCBRAIN doesn't have to do this opening set of corners. So where is CCBRAIN? So yeah, CCBRAIN saying out that little bit extra is cost him so much time. Look how powerful this undercut is. And we're going to see more of that in this race, especially with those on the two-stop strategy. So here come the top two then. If they pit this lap, they would have done 10 laps on the Hypersofts. That's a really good effort from the top two. The only top two who are still on these Hypersoft tyres. Nickelblock's pits from 16th. It's having a miserable race so far. I think that could be his his first stop. And Cliffy is going to overtake MichEmery. So MichEmery slowed down for some reason. Or was that lag? I'm not sure. So Cliffy then pits from second place. Now, the undercut's powerful here, but they had quite a big gap to the likes of GamingAlimonda and Abiodun. So is it going to be enough for them to leapfrog? Oh, and well... I think that was a bit of lag actually. I think Cliffy will come out ahead of the likes of GamingAlimonda and Abiodun. Yep, he'll come out comfortably ahead. So yeah, it was too much even to get that. It looks like Lickle might be stuck in the pits. But that could be a glitch, of course. We did see those sort of visual glitches early on in the season. Yeah, so Lickle could be running around in 10th for all we know. So Cliffy looking to do the one stop then. He's in nice clean air, 4.5 seconds ahead of GamingAlimonda. That's an ideal situation. But the undercut on the super soft's a little bit harder. So if MichEmery's done a good in-lap, he should be okay. But MichEmery did slow down right before the end of this corner. It's almost like he was caught in two minds. It looked like he was slowing down for the pit lane, and then he changed his mind, did an extra lap. So MichEmery then pits from the lead of this race. So this will promote the Ultrasoft runners into the lead positions. But now the crucial moment then, where is Cliffy? Cliffy is on the back straight. And we go straight back to MichEmery in the pits. He's coming out on the super soft tyres. Who's this going to be? This is going to be mighty close. I think Cliffy might have it. Look to the left then. Where is the Red Bull of MichEmery? Can't see him yet. And there he is. He's coming out. So even after a lap, what an incredible undercut that is on the super soft. 2.4 seconds advantage to Cliffy after that. Well, that's incredible. I didn't think the super softs would undercut that much. But the Hypersofts must have just completely fallen off the cliff for MichEmery. So Cliffy is effectively your net leader at the moment. So assuming he doesn't stop again, he's in good shape to win the race at the moment. But he has got that 3-second time penalty, don't forget. So MichEmery doesn't actually, at the moment, if he doesn't get another penalty, have to pass Cliffy as long as he's within those 3 seconds. So let's have a look then. This is the battle for third place between Qprbeasts and MaxiLuca. Building up the speed well over 200 miles an hour. Slightest error from either driver and they'll be throwing themselves into that wall. Oh, and MaxiLuca with a snap of oversteer coming out of the final chicane. Going full attack. But he's not going to be close enough to actually launch a move. MaxiLuca trying to get past. Now what about Abiodun? Abiodun still on the back. And they are rapidly catching MichEmery. So this has really changed the dynamic. The Ultrasofts will do around somewhere between 14 to 18 laps. Oh, GamingAlimonda just strikes the wall. Did he get any damage off that? Not sure if he did. He may have gotten away with it, but he's not going to get away with that many more times. He's 2.4 seconds behind MichEmery. So MichEmery, you know, he's on the right strategy in terms of the one-stop, but what he doesn't want to happen is get into a huge fuss with GamingAlimonda, because if he does, and look at that up ahead, MaxiLuca and Qprbeasts will switch straight back to that, battling then for the final podium position at the moment as Cliffy rapidly catches both of them. So actually Cliffy's pace on the super softs is fantastic. It's really nullifying the ultra soft runners ahead. And Ash Best then pits from third place, promoting MaxiLuca up to third. So Cliffy, once again, at Canada, is showing phenomenal pace. And as I say that, MichEmery sets the fastest lap of the race. Commentator's curse. So MichEmery, you know, making a little bit of a statement. It's now 2.8 second advantage of the GamingAlimonda behind. So MichEmery putting a bit of a hammer down to try and keep ahead of the ultra-soft runners behind, because he knows that if he gets caught up in battles with them, that could cost him, because he's still got no penalties at the moment. So and here comes Cliffy then. Cliffy looking to do something, you know, passing MaxiLuca can be a bit precarious at the best of times, so he's going to have to be careful here. MaxiLuca on 13 lap ultra soft, so in theory it should be a no contest. But MaxiLuca, as we know, can be a slightly erratic defender. Former Psgl F1 winner, of course, won in Bahrain a few seasons ago. And this looks like a very routine pass. I think MaxiLuca knows he's not in the same race as Cliffy, so no point fighting him, and he's pitting anyway, as does Leon and Blizzard. So Cliffy then retakes the lead on track, at least, of the Psgl F1 Canadian Grand Prix on lap 15, 21 laps to go. I think you'll agree it's been a really entertaining race as CCBRAIN picks up a time penalty. So a lot of the drivers going on to, it looks like the one-stop strategy seems to be the favour at the moment. But GamingAlimonda, Abiodun and Big C are on the two-stop. And LiquidCox retires from the race, and that's your fourth retirement of the race of the 19 who started. Haven't mentioned Lewis actually. He had to disconnect earlier, but he's currently running in P11. That's nowhere near what he would have wanted from this session. I get the sense GamingAlimonda has damage, because he's really dropped off the back of MichEmery. You know, the ultra softs don't go off after 7 laps, so I think he's got damage. So at the moment, again, the top two look like the most likely to be winning this race. So Abiodun has really got to think about getting past MichEmery. And it looks like Leon is stuck in the pit lane. Oh, he is. Oh, it's a disaster at Sauber. I'm guessing that could be related to Liquid Blocks when he got stuck earlier, if indeed that wasn't a glitch. But, oh, dearie me. What a disastrous race for Sauber. They're bottom of the championship with 4 points, and it's not going to get any better. And I think Liquid might have got stuck and didn't retire. I'm not sure what happened there. Leon may share the glitch with us later. 2 second gap then between the top two. Let's see, we'll get some battles down the order then. Looks like Blizzard is getting close to the back of CCBRAIN, both on the Super Softs. So it seems like the Super Softs is the strategy to go on at the moment. They've got a long second stint to go. This is your closest on-track battle. Leon retires then. That's 5 retirements then. Quite high attrition so far. And up ahead of these two is Big C on the Ultra Softs. And well, look at the overspeed from Toro Rosso. Well, I don't think Brain even tried to defend that. It didn't seem to have a chance at all. So Blizzard up to 6th position, and actually, given that the Ultra Soft runners ahead are all going to have to pit again at some point, that is effectively a move for 3rd place in this race. So Blizzard now going to be making a move on the 7-time champion Big C, who won in Australia, but since then it's been mixed for him. No points in China, a podium in Britain. Podium at the moment in terms of the strategy doesn't look very likely, as Lewis is disconnected again. So can Big C do anything about this rapid Toro Rosso? Blizzard's had a pretty good season so far, but it's yet to step on the top podium. There we go then. A fantastic shot of the hairpin as they all fly up towards the back straight. Going to keep the HUD off for a few more moments just to see this. I think Big C is going to defend this a bit more. Then CCBRAIN did. Yep, he's going to try and cover the middle of the track. Oh, nearly squeezed to the wall. That was ballsy from Blizzard to get that move done. Big C trying to intimidate him by placing the car, but left just enough room for Blizzard. And behind then, CCBRAIN's going to attack Big C as well. So Big C loses 2 places. MichEmery picks up a time penalty. MichEmery picks up a time penalty. So they are now evenly matched in terms of penalties. So now the pendulum has swung back for the time being in Cliffy's favour. Yeah, bad luck for the Sauber team, especially Leon getting stuck in the pit lane like that. But hopefully the next time at France he'll get a more positive result. But yeah, Big C on the ultra softs, and it's not really working for him. But he could have damage, of course. But it's so hard to tell with the halos sometimes. Just having a look at his wing, but that's it. Yeah, again, that's a terrible view. I give up. It's just so hard to tell if the car's got damage sometimes. I think Game of the Best does, because the fact that after he hit the wall, we saw on live, and then he dropped off to MichEmery in front, would suggest he got damage. So any battles on track? No battles on track at the moment. So we're sort of playing a waiting game, and Big C then comes into pit lane. So let's confirm if he got damage at all. Might as well, because there's no actual close battles. Big C, the 7-time champion, pitting then on lap 19 of this Psgl F1 Canadian Grand Prix. Here we go then, peels onto the pit lane. It's a set of super softs for Big C and no wing damage. As Ashbest picks up a 3-second time penalty. So Big C, we're going to the end. A slightly confusing strategy. That's his second stop of the race. Clearly couldn't get the ultra softs to work. But could be a reason for that, which we'll find out about after the race. So Big C coming out in 12th, but still has a fair chance of some points. Let's see if Lewis was able to rejoin. I didn't actually see because there are quite a few penalties going on. Yep, Lewis has rejoined. He's currently in the points. Hasn't stopped yet. Lap 19. So a good first stint, but he's going to be well down the order when he does pit. Of course, in a dry race, everyone has to use 2 different compounds during the race. So let's have a look then. Is there any... CCBRAIN still on the back of Blizzard. I think Blizzard is gradually getting away. He's out of DRS range now. So I think we're really waiting for Game of the Best and Abiodun to pit for what would surely be another set of ultra softs, and then go on the attack for points at the end of the race. Let's have a look at the front then quickly. Looks fairly comfortable at the moment for Cliffy. MichEmery matching him sector to sector. Seems to be a bit quicker in sector 2. And then Cliffy seems to have a bit more straight line speed. Oof, struggling for traction out of that hairpin. So how many laps have they done on these tyres now? 9 laps for Cliffy, 8 for MichEmery. So they've still got quite a lot of laps to go. Another 15 laps at least on these tyres. So they're going to be struggling for wear at the end. But they should be well ahead of, of the likes of Game of the Best Abiodun when they pit. Blizzard, though, he has much fresher Supersoft tyres. So if those Supersofts were to go off towards the end, Blizzard could be have a sniff at the victory. So don't discount the Toro Rosso driver yet. Here comes Abiodun then, pitting from 4th position. And it's another set of ultra softs by the looks of it. MichEmery gets another time penalty. So now it's even more in Cliffy's favour. But the gap between the top 2 is dropping. MaxiLuca and Ashbest now having another battle here. So let's have a look at this. So MaxiLuca picks up a time penalty. Some say he is called Maxi Penalty, but I think that's rather unfair. But he does pick up a lot of time penalties in these races. I've seen many of his races, and he just seems to really like having these time penalties. So then, former Psgl F1 champion and a former race winner in Psgl F1 going into combat here through sector 2. Oh, a slight contact with the wall for the Haas driver. This could end in tears. Ashbest will cover the inside. Late on the brakes. Oh, fantastic sparks there. They slightly bang wheels. That was brilliant. But Ashbest getting a good run out of the hairpin. So that maintains the position for the now. But DRS will activate for MaxiLuca. Ashbest will cover the inside, or at least try to. As Game of the Best then pits from 3rd position, and MaxiLuca just blasts past him with ease. And here comes Game of the Best. Any damage for the Williams driver? No, apparently not. Perhaps he was just not on the pace today, maybe. So Best drops to 6th position. And MichEmery now is within a second of Cliffy. So we could get about... They're coming up to Cherry2Pie's Mercedes to lap him. But MichEmery has 6 seconds of penalties now. Cliffy has 3. So I'm not sure if Cliffy is listening in on this stream, but if he might get the team radio as well. Big C is past Ugiazim for 10th place down the order. So Game of the Best then, and Abiodun once again very close to each other. Abiodun was not able to undercut Game of the Best to get back in front of him. So hasn't been able to get the outlaps to work. They fly through the final chicane. That was fantastic from both drivers. But look out, MichEmery really on the pace now. 1:10.651 on the super softs. I think that lap time will be smashed momentarily by either Game of the Best or Abiodun on the ultra softs, and of course Lewis W03. MaxiLuca picks up another penalty. Cliffy struggling for front grip a little bit. Looks a bit uncertain through that opening chicane, and that is opening the door for MichEmery. And as I mentioned it, Abiodun probably getting a token Game of the Best, setting the fastest lap of the race with a 1:10.04. So the battle for the lead then for this Canadian Grand Prix. Will MichEmery look for a dive down the inside? I don't think he really needs to do a move there. He can now... Game of the Best picks up a time penalty, but they're rapidly catching AMS. So I might have a look at that in a few moments, but we're going to just keep on board with this. Cliffy will not defend the inside, which will allow MichEmery to go through into the lead of the Psgl F1 Canadian Grand Prix for the time being. But again, he's got 6 seconds of penalties, so he's going to have to get the hammer down to get at least 3 seconds out on Cliffy. But Cliffy's going to try and come back at him. No. Oh, and MichEmery goes deep. He'll still have the inside though. And here comes Game of the Best then on the Ferrari of AMS. Oh, that was a big cut by Game of the Best, and that might open the door for Abiodun to make a move on the championship here. Game of the Best slamming the door firmly shut in the face of the Force India driver. That was very sharp from Game of the Best. He knew he got a terrible X from the chicane, and he immediately closed the door. That was hard but fair from the championship leader. And once again, slight tap of the wall once again from Game of the Best. He's desperately trying to get past this Ferrari. He's going to try and go around the outside, and what a move that was from Game of the Best. Absolutely brilliant move from Game of the Best to go around the outside, and AMS I think is going to be overtaken by Abiodun as well. But what's a move by Game of the Best out of nowhere, late on the brakes and the fresh tyres, all the work to do. But he's moved up to 7th. Now he'll try and give chase to Best, who's 5.5 seconds down the road. Anything else? No, Abiodun's not really close. So let's have a look at MaxiLuca, who's closing in on CCBRAIN, who's got much older tyres than MaxiLuca. So despite the penalties, it's been a relatively solid race from MaxiLuca so far. Probably one of his better performances in recent times. And Sambamkid picks up a 3-second penalty. Haven't seen much of Sambam today, sadly. He's having a pretty average race outside the points, currently in P13. And 14 seconds behind him is Cherry2Pie. So some of the Mercedes-powered cars not having a good evening here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. So your main battle on track, seemingly at the moment, 1:10.098 from Lewis. He is on the march. Can he get to Ugiazim? Quite possibly with that sort of pace, but can he get into the points? That's going to be tricky. Right then, let's have a look. Cliffy is closed back in on MichEmery. So MichEmery may have just picked up another warning there, going through the chicane. Let's go back to MaxiLuca. He's trying to make a move on CCBRAIN up ahead. Cherry2Pie picks up a time penalty. I think some of these drivers are going to have a fair amount. I still think a few places could be decided on penalties. So Blizzard, I think Blizzard is definitely a candidate for and here we go. Wheel banging from the Mercedes and Haas drivers. And will this open the door for Best? No, not quite. But MaxiLuca will try and go alongside. Will he have the inside corner for this chicane? Yes, he will. And he gets the move done. And that's... And oh, MichEmery's picked up another time, but that's 9 seconds now. Qprbeasts then looking for a move down the inside into the end of... And yellow's in sector 2. Someone's had an incident. It's Cherry2Pie. Cherry2Pie is out of the race. Blizzard picks up time penalty. Here comes Qprbeasts then, moving up to 5th place. Oh, just about gets the car slowed down. So we've had 6 retirements now. Mitch penalty. That's a good one, Chulo. And Lewis is disconnected again. His internet is shocking. Is that a hamster powering that internet connection? Because he's disconnected multiple times. Although, to be fair, knowing this game, it's probably not his fault at all. So Cliffy, he's doing the right thing. He's not really going all out to challenge MichEmery, but he's just trying to force him into mistakes, and he has. You know, that he's forced him into another 3 seconds penalty. So Cliffy is looking so good for a hat-trick of wins here, which is simply incredible. GamingAlimonda is within 2.3 seconds now of CCBRAIN, so you know he's still going to recover some good points here because MichEmery and Cliffy are not high up in the championship. As it stands, GamingAlimonda is going to extend his championship lead, especially if he can gain a few more places before the end. He could gain maybe 3 more places at the rate he's going, so that could be a fantastic battle for 4th, 5th and 6th coming up. That's yellow's in sector 3. Wonder if that's Sambamkid. We're not sure actually. It's yellow's in sector 3 still. That's Cliffy then. Goes on to the attack. But he's in mode 0. He's just keeping in DRS range. Just playing for percentages. So smart work at the moment. So CCBRAIN, is he out? Yeah, he's out of range. And here comes GamingAlimonda and Abiodun. Oh, these two are going to be so quick at this point. So by the end of the next lap, these two, Qprbeasts picks up a time penalty. Now has 1 more than CCBRAIN. So CCBRAIN at the moment in a net P4 because MaxiLuca, let's face it, in terms of penalties, is well out of the running. It's had at least 4, I think. But here comes GamingAlimonda, who compared to that earlier stint he did on the Ultrasofts looks far quicker this time, and he hits the wall again. He's living dangerously, the championship leader. He could still be on for some valuable points here, so he doesn't have to go too risky, especially given the tyre advantage he's going to have. He's on 6-lap-old Ultrasofts compared to 18-lap-old Supersofts. I'm not going to check penalties because I don't want to interrupt any of the action. CCBRAIN gets a terrible exit out of the second chicane, but he is going to cover the inside. So GamingAlimonda is probably just going to back off and then get the switch back to get onto the back of the Mercedes. Oh my goodness! CCBRAIN nearly losing control of the car completely. And if Game had been slightly further up alongside him, he could have taken him out completely. Would have been a complete accident, of course. So GamingAlimonda goes late on the brakes and easily, and I mean easily, takes 6th place. Can Abiodun not really keeping pace? So GamingAlimonda is really laying down the pace at the moment. So now he's got 2 cars to get past. As we enter the closing stages of what has been a fast and furious Canadian Grand Prix, as it usually is here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And at the moment, Cliffy is looking good for a 3rd victory in a row here at Canada. 1 here in season 18. Oh my goodness. Did GamingAlimonda just chip off a bit of wing? I might have seen something fly off. Qprbeasts struggling to get the car slowed down. But as I was mentioning, Cliffy 1 here in season 18 and season 19. We didn't race here last season. Meanwhile, behind Abiodun. Oh, contact between the Force India and the Mercedes briefly, but it didn't. No harm, thankfully. But we'll go straight back to GamingAlimonda. Cliffy is very close to MichEmery, so we'll have a quick look at that. No, he's just holding position, trying not to get any penalties, and I think that's a wise thing to do. CCBRAIN picks up another time penalty. As does MaxiLuca, somehow getting a penalty at the first corner. Must have really cut it to get that. So your current top 10: MichEmery, Cliffy, Blizzard, MaxiLuca, Qprbeasts, GamingAlimonda, Abiodun, CCBRAIN, AMS, and Big C, who started 10th not been able to gain any positions today. Yes, I'll have to check out Leon's video, but I suspect it's a glitch, similar glitch we saw very early on in the game. And Lewis is caught onto the back of Ugi, which should be pretty much a no contest, given the tyre difference. So lap 30 of 35 here at Canada for Psgl F1. Super softs on MichEmery and Cliffy are going to be struggling a little bit, especially on CCBRAIN and Ugi. The rears on CCBRAIN we saw a few moments ago, I think they've gone completely. Sambamkid pits then for Hypersofts, so he's fancying a crack at the fastest lap of the race, and given he's got nothing else to fight for at the moment, why not? A token gift from what people... Oh, Gamer picks up a penalty and he hit the wall again. It's been a slightly raggedy drive from Gamer the Best. Usually he's very smooth, but he's been tapping the wall quite a few times in this race. But you know, it is a street circuit, just like Australia, so it can be a very difficult track to avoid those walls. You're going so fast, low downforce setups. I think he just tapped the wall again, you know. And Gamer the Best get past Ash Best. Oh, so close. Oh, Gamer the Best getting a bit of understeer in the dirty air of the McLaren ahead. Let's have a look at Cliffy. Cliffy right on the back of MichEmery again. But he's saving his battery. Maybe he does fancy an attack in the closing stages. We'll go straight back to Gamer the Best because he is right on the back. But Ash Best getting the DRS from the Haas ahead. And that is probably what is keeping him ahead at the moment. As Ash Best then makes a move on MaxiLuca ahead. Can they get it slowed down? And they do in the end. A great move from Ash Best up ahead. And, you know, Gamer getting boxed in, which meant he wasn't able to attack MaxiLuca coming out of the final chicane. 4 laps to go then. It's been an exciting race, especially... Oh, MaxiLuca has slid off. Oh, he slid off. And he's losing places and time. So MaxiLuca down to 8th position. And he's probably damaged. Oh, and he's out of the race. MaxiLuca retires from the Canadian Grand Prix. A sad end to what was, despite the penalties, a pretty decent run from MaxiLuca. So no points again for the Haas driver. And indeed, no points for Haas either, with none of their cars running. MaxiLuca, the sole Haas driver. Let's have a look. Let's have a quick look at Cliffy. Cliffy so close again to back of MichEmery. He's pushing hard, but he's risking a bit. He's risking losing the victory here. Let's go straight back to Gamer the Best. Gamer the Best now. Ash Best doesn't have the DRS of the Haas to keep it ahead of him anymore. Yeah, I don't think there was ever going to be a late safety car, Jay, with this few laps ago. I'm sure. Well, the likes of Blizzard and would have been delighted by that. MichEmery would have been absolutely devastated with a late safety car because he would have lost several positions. So this is the battle for P4. Abiodun keeping a watching brief. I think Abiodun, he's hoping something happens here because don't think he, unless there's a mistake from one of the two in front. Oh, Ash Best gets a terrible exit though, and that's going to give the Gamer the Best a really good opportunity to put Ash under a lot of pressure. He's going to go for a move to the inside. Oh, and they nearly touched, but I tell you what, that was fantastic racing from both to give them the space. But Abiodun, it's going to get the better run on both of them. Gamer the Best goes down the inside of the hairpin. He should have DRS, so Ash Best may be vulnerable from Abiodun behind. I'm going to switch to that view. And Ash Best, though, trying to come back at Gamer the Best. This has been a nice little battle we've seen here. Gamer the Best smoothly transitioning through the chicane, and now he gets a good acceleration. Ash Best with the older tyres not able to do so himself, so now he's under attack. Abiodun, who goes late on the brakes on the outside, he runs off the track. Arguably, well, that was brave. Arguably, though, he left the track to get that move done. So I'm not sure if Ash Best will protest that later, but it was still really fun racing to watch. So Ash Best down to 6th position, but he might gain some places back with penalties. We shall see. So yeah, not many drivers. We've had 7 retirements. And Lewis has actually managed to get back into the points. Let's have a quick look at Ugizim. So Ugizim got a puncher. I think Ugizim's got a rear right puncher, you know. Oh, maybe not. Thought I could hear the telltale sign of a puncher. Anyway, straight back to the front. Down the inside goes Cliffy. Round the outside. Cliffy's off the track. So this battle's going to carry on. Onto the final lap they go. So obviously Cliffy doesn't know about these penalties. So we're going to stick with that for the final lap of this race. The battle for the lead of this race. 23 laps for MichEmery, 24 for Cliffy. But does he know about the penalties? Because MichEmery, I believe, has at least 6 seconds more. So it doesn't have a gap at the moment. But it's going all the way to the wire. So then, accelerating. Up on the straight for the final time. So who is going to win this race? And MichEmery pulls aside. And I think maybe he knows the game is up in terms of the penalties. And Cliffy, for the 3rd time, proving to be the master of Canada. Cliffy wins the Canadian Grand Prix in Psgl F1. Absolutely brilliant pole position and the race victory. And I think MichEmery, he knew the game was up because of the penalties, and I think that is why he just allowed Cliffy the honour of taking the victory on track. As VSR Blizzard picks up a very fine podium. And Abiodun actually picked up 4th. Ash Best picks up 5th. GamingAlimonda, a slightly sloppy race from his standards. Drops down to 6th in the end. But still gets points over his nearest championship rival, Big C. Let's go on board with Cliffy then. What a great drive from Cliffy. He just loves this track. He's dominated the last 3 to a degree. But yet again, he is the master of the circuit, Gilles Villeneuve. A 3rd win here in 3 attempts. This is literally his 3rd race here at Canada, and he's won all 3 in Psgl F1. So here's your podium then. 3 very good performances from all 3. Blizzard had the alternate strategy and he finished well behind the top 2 in the end. Didn't quite have the race pace, but he'll still be very delighted with that 3rd place for Toro Rosso. But you know, MichEmery and Cliffy have put on a great show for us today, and they were by far the class of the field. And you know, it could be a sign of things to come for the rest of the season. As I get my the experience. Yep, I think I deserve more experience points for that. What about you guys? Let us know in the chat who your driver of the day is. I'm very interested to know. So here is your provisional result then for the Canadian Grand Prix in Psgl F1 before we go on our 3-week break. Cliffy taking the race victory here then. 3 seconds of time penalty. MichEmery had 9, and that what's the difference in the end? 2nd place, but still a fine drive. 1st podium of the season. Blizzard in 3rd place, another podium for him, following his podium at China. Abiodun in 4th, Ash Best in 5th, probably his best drive of the season so far. GamingAlimonda in 6th, CCBRAIN in 7th, Big C in 8th in the end of the penalty, so actually he reduced the deficit to GamingAlimonda. AMS in 9th, and Lewis taking the final championship point despite all those disconnects. Ugizim and Sambamkid, your only other finishers. We had 7 retirements here. So that was a very, very entertaining Canadian Grand Prix. So if you enjoyed that, please leave a like. I'll really appreciate that. And now we're going to get podium interviews back the next time we are live for France. We've come up with some things, so that should be very good. So the next time you will see live Psgl action will be next week for the Ayrton Senna Trophy. That should be a fantastic event, a one-off. Details of that will be going up on the Psgl forum shortly after this race. So a great race, and Cliffy has really written himself perhaps as a potential title challenger after that victory at Canada. It's 3 out of 3 at Canada. 4 different race winners for Psgl F1 this season. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.